Imagine a world where an invisible enemy sweeps through cities and villages, touching lives in every corner without warning. It was 1918. The First World War was drawing to a close, but something deadlier than bullets and bombs was about to strike. A virus, eventually called the Spanish flu, emerged with breathtaking speed. Unlike previous influenzas, it didn't just target the very young or very old. Healthy young adults, soldiers, workers, and new parents were suddenly at risk. Within weeks, people were collapsing in the streets of Philadelphia, falling ill by the tens of thousands across Bombay, and grieving in the quiet valleys of New Zealand. Hospitals overflowed. Schools, theaters, and churches closed their doors. Coffins ran out. In some towns, the dead were carted away by horse-drawn wagons, sometimes buried in mass graves. No one knows for certain where the Spanish flu began. Some evidence points to a British army camp in France. Others trace it to rural Kansas, and still others to crowded trenches in Belgium. What we do know, within months, the virus went global. Troop movements and crowded trains helped spread it far faster than any disease in modern memory. One of the strangest things, the pandemic got its name not from its origins, but from censorship. During wartime, countries downplayed outbreaks to keep morale strong. Spain's press, unrestrained by war censorship, reported its epidemic openly, convincing the world that Spain was hardest hit. At its peak, the Spanish flu killed with astonishing speed. Some people woke up healthy in the morning and died by nightfall. Their skin turned blue from lack of oxygen. Lungs filled with fluid. There was no effective treatment. Doctors were helpless, and many nurses themselves became victims. In India, entire villages were abandoned. In Alaska, remote settlements lost nearly all their inhabitants. By the time it faded, the Spanish flu had claimed between 50 and 100 million lives, more than the World War that had just ended. To put that in perspective, in 1918, the world's population was about 1.8 billion. Nearly a third fell ill. 1 in every 24 people died from the virus. But for all its devastation, the Spanish flu also changed the world in ways few foresaw. It inspired cities to build new public health systems, tracking illnesses, reporting outbreaks, training more nurses and doctors. The pandemic also encouraged research into viruses and vaccines, setting the stage for future scientific breakthroughs. One haunting detail: the masks. In San Francisco and Paris, on trains in Tokyo, in churches in Rio de Janeiro, people wore gauze or cloth over their noses and mouths. Debates raged about whether masks worked. Sound familiar? There were protests too. In Denver, dozens were arrested for refusing to wear their flu masks. In Paris, journalists published anti-mask editorials, while in New York, theaters only admitted ticket holders who wore them. In many places, fear of spreading disease made people avoid one another. Newspapers advised shoppers to keep smiling because they claimed frowning led to infection. Even in a moment of such darkness, people found ways to cope. Streets echoed not just with funeral bells, but also with songs, stories, brand new jokes about influenza parties, and the small kindnesses of neighbors caring for one another. But the tragedy didn't spare anyone. President Woodrow Wilson himself fell ill at the Paris Peace Conference. To this day, some historians wonder, did the Spanish flu affect the shape of world peace after the war? And the pandemic shaped art and memory. Paintings became more somber. Writers like Catherine Ann Porter chronicled the disorienting fear of a world forever changed. Decades later, scientists isolated the Spanish flu virus, stored frozen in the lungs of victims buried in Arctic permafrost. Its secrets continue to teach us lessons about mutation, transmission, and the constant race between humanity and microbes. Why did the Spanish flu vanish? The virus mutated into a less deadly form, and survivors developed immunity. But scars remained, not just in the lives lost, but in the cautious readiness that followed. From the Cold War's biological labs to today's global disease surveillance, the pandemic also revealed something powerful about human nature. Societies struggled, stumbled, and suffered immense loss, yet found ways to adapt. Amid disaster, they strengthened the systems that protect us all today. Think of it. A century later, echoes of the Spanish flu returned in new pandemics. The world remembered its lessons about masks, quarantines, and the urgency of science. Governments and communities reread their histories, asking what worked, what failed, what stories must never be forgotten. If you walk through old graveyards from Philadelphia to Sydney, you'll still find headstones marked 1918, 1919, reminders of families changed forever. But the legacy of the Spanish flu isn't just sorrow. It's the birth of modern public health, the recognition that societies share a common fate, and the hope that lessons painfully learned can save lives, if we choose to remember. Why do we look back at events like the Spanish flu? Because every crisis holds a mirror to the present, and perhaps a map to the future. What might the next pandemic teach us about ourselves? And are we ready to listen?